it unnecessary for the mother country to keep among us, for the purpose of our defense, any standing army of mercenary forces. Remember, this is exactly what the king has done in Massachusetts. He doesn't want that to happen in Virginia. Always subversive of the quiet and dangerous to the liberties of the people, and would obviate the pretext of taxing us for their support. Resolution 2, that the establishment of such a militia at this time is peculiarly necessary by the state of our laws for the protection and defense of the country. Our militia laws are expiring or have expired, some of which are already expired and others will shortly do so. And that the known remissness of government in calling us together in a legislative capacity, the governor said, I ain't calling another House of Burgesses for at least another year. Render it too insecure in this time of danger and distress to rely that opportunity will be given of renewing them in General Assembly or making any provisions to secure our inestimable rights and liberties from those further violations which they are threatened. Resolved, therefore, that this colony be immediately put into a posture of defense, that a committee be appointed to prepare a plan for embodying, arming, and disciplining such a number of men as may be sufficient for that purpose. So that's what he's going to argue in favor of. But first, when we call a convention to order every day, we call the roll. I'm Peyton Randolph, president of the convention, unanimously elected on the first day. Normally I would have my clerk, John Tazewell, call the roll, but since he's not, I will call the roll, and when I call your name and your county or city, please yell out, present, so that we know that you are here. Mr. Thomas Jefferson, Esquire, from Albemarle. Present. Mr. Frederick Macklin, Esquire, from Brunswick. Mr. Macklin, absent? Look at your delegate credential and see who you are. Mr. Edward Pendleton, Esquire, for Caroline County. Mr. Benjamin Harrison, from Charles City. Yell out loud, present, so we know you're here. Mr. George Washington, Esquire, for Fairfax County. Present. Mr. Thomas Whiting, for Gloucester. Present. Mr. Patrick Henry Jr., for Hanover. Present. Mr. John Sim, Esquire, for Hanover. Present. Mr. Henry Tazewell, Esquire, for Brunswick. Present. Mr. James Taylor, Esquire, for Caroline. Absent. Mr. William Ackrill, Esquire, for Charles City. Mr. Lewis Burwell, for Gloucester. Boy, we have a lot of people who need to be fined for absence. Mr. Robert Carter Nicholas, Esquire, for James City. Present. Mr. William Eilert, Esquire, for King William. Present. Mr. William Norville, Esquire, for James City.
Present.
Mr. Carter Braxton, for King William County.
Present.
Mr. Francis Payton, Esquire, for Loudoun County.
Present.
Mr. Josiah Clapham, Esquire, for Loudoun County. Mr. Thomas Barber, Esquire, for Orange County.
Present.
Mr. James Taylor, Esquire, for Orange County.
Here.
Mr. Richard Bland, for Prince George County. Mr. Peter Poitras, Esquire, for Prince George County.
Here.
Mr. Richard Henry Lee, for Westmoreland County.
Present.
And Mr. Richard Lee, Esquire, for Westmoreland County. Okay, what normally happened and what did happen on this day, but we don't have the Reverend Miles Selden to read prayers, is every session after the roll call would be opened by Reverend Miles Selden offering prayers, often for an hour. These people understood that they were in dire distress and they took their need for divine help seriously. Then, in this particular day, the 23rd of March, there was debate on these three resolutions. Most of the delegates, they realized we can't run our colony without our militia laws being active, raised the argument that if we do something now to show that we know that we're in danger, that might put us in greater danger. So there were powerful arguments against adopting these 3 resolutions, because it's like when you're attacked by a bully, if you act afraid, that might make it worse. So there were debates of that tenor. But when Mr. Henry took the floor, he argued vociferously why it is too late to wait for hope, and hope if we lie quietly, nothing will happen to us, and why we needed to adopt his resolutions. When he is through, I will assume the chair again, and since these resolutions have been moved and seconded, and the debate heard, I will call for your vote. Aye, if you are in favor of these resolutions; nay, if you are opposed to them. Mr. Henry has the floor.
No man thinks more highly than I do of the very worthy gentleman who just addressed the House. But different men often see the same subject in different lights, and therefore, I hope it will not be thought disrespectful if, entertaining as I do opinions very different to theirs, I shall speak forth my sentiments freely and without reserve. This is no time for ceremony. The question before the House is one of awful moments to this country. For my own part, I consider it nothing less than a question of freedom or slavery. And in proportion to the magnitude of the subject, ought to be the freedom of the debate. It is only in this way that we can hope to arrive at truth and fulfill the great responsibility which we hold to God and our country. Should I keep back my opinions at such a time, through fear of giving offense, I should consider myself as guilty of treason towards my country and of an act of disloyalty toward the majesty of heaven, which I revere above all earthly kings. Mr. President, it is natural for man to indulge in illusions of hope. We are apt to shut our eyes against the painful truth and listen to the song of that siren until she has turned us into beasts. Is this the part of wise men engaged in a great and arduous struggle for liberty? Are we disposed to be of the number of those who, having eyes, see not, and having ears, hear not? The things which so nearly concern their temporal salvation? For my part, whatever anguish of spirit it may cost, I am willing to know the whole truth, and to know the worst, and to provide for it. I have but one lamp by which my feet are guided, and this is the lamp of experience. I know of no way of judging the future but by the past, and judging by the past, I wish to know what there has been in the conduct of the British ministry for the last 10 years to justify those hopes with which gentlemen have been pleased to solace themselves and the House. Is it that insidious smile with which our petition has been lately received? Trust it not, sir. It will prove a snare to your feet. Suffer not yourselves to be betrayed by a kiss. Ask yourselves how this gracious reception of our petition comports with the warlike preparations which cover our waters and darken our land. Our fleets and armies, necessary to a work of love and reconciliation, have we shown ourselves so unwilling to be reconciled that force must be used to win back our love? Let us not deceive ourselves, sir. These are the implements of war and subjugation, the last arguments to which kings resort. I ask, gentlemen, sir, what means this martial array, if its purpose be not to force us to submission? Can gentlemen assign any other possible motive for it? Has Great Britain any enemy in this quarter of the world to call for all this accumulation of navies and armies? No, sir, she has none. They are meant for us. They can be meant for no other. They are sent to bind and rivet upon us the chains which the British ministry has so long been forging. And what have we to oppose them? Shall we try argument? Sir, we have been trying that for the last 10 years. Have we anything to offer upon the subject? Nothing. We have held the subject up in every light of which it is capable. But it has all been in vain. Shall we resort to entreaty and humble supplication? What terms shall we find which have not already been exhausted? Let us not, I beseech you, sir, deceive ourselves. Sir, we have done everything that could be done to avert the storm which is now coming on. We have petitioned, we have remonstrated, we have supplicated. We have prostrated ourselves before the throne and have implored its interposition to arrest the tyrannical hands of the ministry and the parliament. Our petitions have been slighted. Our remonstrances have produced an additional violence and insult. Our supplications have been disregarded. We have been spurned with contempt from the foot of the throne. In vain after these things may we indulge in the fond hope of peace and reconciliation. There is no longer room for hope. If we wish to be free, if we mean to preserve inviolate those inestimable privileges for which we have been so long contending, if we mean not basely to abandon the noble struggle in which we have been so long engaged, and which we have pledged ourselves never to abandon until the glorious object of our contest shall be obtained, we must fight. I repeat it, sir, we must fight. An appeal to arms and to the God of hosts is all that is left us. They tell us, sir, that we are weak, unable to cope with so formidable an adversary. But when shall we be strong? Will it be the next week or the next year? Will it be when we are totally disarmed and when a British guard is stationed in every house? Shall we gather strength by irresolution and inaction? Shall we acquire the means of effectual resistance by lying supinely on our backs and hugging the delusive phantom of hope until our enemies have bound us hand and foot? Sir, we are not weak. If we make a proper use of those means which the God of nature hath placed in our power, 3 millions of people, armed in the holy cause of liberty, and in such a country as that which we possess, are invincible by any force which our enemy can send against us. Besides, sir, we shall not fight our battles alone. There is a just God who presides over the destinies of nations and who will raise up our friends to fight our battles for us. The battle, sir, is not to the strong alone. It is to the vigilant, the active, the brave. Besides, sir, we have no election. If we were base enough to desire it, it is now too late to retire from the contest. There is no retreat, but in submission and slavery. Our chains are forged. Their clanking may be heard on the plains of Boston. The war is inevitable, and let it come. I repeat it, sir, let it come. It is in vain to extenuate the matter. Gentlemen may cry, peace, peace, but there is no peace. The war is actually begun. The next gale that sweeps from the north will bring to our ears the clash of resounding arms. Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand we here idle? What is it that gentlemen wish? What would they have? Is life so dear or peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others may take. But as for me, give me liberty or give me death.
Hear, hear! Call to order the House with a vote. Voting on Mr. Henry's resolutions, yes, sir.
Chairman, we have 2 delegates that have arrived.
2 additional delegates who have arrived. Please will they announce themselves? We had about 6 delegates absent when we took the roll. Who are they?
We're giving them envelopes.
Well, better late than never, gentlemen. Is that better?
Josiah Clapham, Esquire, for Loudon.
It's about time, Mr. Clapham. And
James Taylor, Esquire, for Caroline.
thank you, Mr. Taylor. Okay, the question is moved, seconded, debate has been heard. All in favor of carrying Mr. Henry's 3 resolutions, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolutions carry. Let me tell you, this is exactly what happened. You recall the 3 resolutions. The third had to be modified because the third called for the making of a committee to take this matter in hand. And in adopting it, we actually named the members of that committee. So, we resolved, therefore, that this commonly, you can hear me all right, be immediately put into a posture of defense, and that, stand if you were named one of the delegates, that Mr. Patrick Henry, Mr. Richard Henry Lee, Mr. Robert Carter Nicholas, Mr. Benjamin Harrison, Lemuel Riddick, George Washington, Adam Stephen, Andrew Lewis, William Christian, Edmund Pendleton, Thomas Jefferson, and Isaac Zane be a committee. So those who are members made the members of that committee to prepare a plan for embodying, arming, and disciplining such a number of men as may be sufficient for that purpose. Then that's exactly what that committee did, and it researched through all the statutes and saw that just as Mr. Henry had said, all our more recent militia laws had either expired by the time he made them or would be expired before the next spring, which the governor told us that was as soon as he was going to get around to thinking about calling new elections. But they found if they went back to the year 1738, the 1738 militia law had no internal expiration date. Realize many acts are made with the terms of their own expiration, which is generally a good idea. But if you don't know that your lower house or your upper house is suddenly going to not be able to be called, that's a problem. They found that the 1738 militia law was still on the books, so their ordinance was simply recommend everybody, that is the latest militia law still in force, everybody get to it and start drilling and mustering and arming and preparing to do what you're supposed to do. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a delegate. Thank you to Mr. Patrick Henry for your superb rendition of your very persuasive speech.